looking at the original security interest, the original or underlying security interest in the inventory was properly perfected. Also, the original security agreement was sufficiently and properly filed. That means that the security interest in the inventory will attach to identifiable proceeds, the check and the promissory note. Also, the security interest is automatically perfected on the proceeds for 20 days. The issue in question D centers around the cash proceeds received as a payment for the promissory note. The payment on the promissory note is an identifiable proceed. The debtor uses the identifiable cash proceeds from the promissory note to buy a computer and microwave parts. Under the UCC, the computer is equipment and the microwave parts are inventory. Because there's an after acquired property clause for the original collateral, the inventory, the security interest in the microwave parts automatically attaches because it's inventory. Assuming that National Bank can properly trace the funds to the computer, then the security interest in the security interest from the original collateral will automatically attach to the computer if they can properly trace the funds. Regarding perfection, the security interest is automatically perfected for 20 days. Unless there's an exception, the security party must take further steps to assure lasting perfection before the 20 days expire. The exception in 9315D2 doesn't apply because the proceeds are the computer and the microwave parts, not the cash proceeds. Also, the exception in 9315D1 does not apply because the computer and microwave parts were bought with cash proceeds. What occurs in problem D is that the original collateral is sold, which eventually is sold for cash, and that cash is used to purchase equipment and inventory. When this situation occurs, the security interest in the proceeds, which are the microwave and computer, remain perfected only if the description in the filed financing indicates the type of property constituting the proceeds. In other words, financing statements are effective to perfect after acquired property of the type indicated in the financing statement. So if the financing statement describes the collateral as all assets, then the finance statement is sufficient to perfect a security interest in the debtor's equipment and inventory. In fact, Article 9 expressly permits the filing of a finance statement that identifies the collateral as all assets or all personal property in Section 95042. However, if the financing statement described the collateral as inventory and proceeds thereof, then security interest in the debtor's microwave parts are perfected because it's inventory. However, the security interest in the computer is likely not going to be perfected. Although financing statements can use more generic language to describe the collateral, it needs to cover either all assets or be a description permitted in Section 9108. 9108 says a description of the debtor's property can be by the term the UCC would use to describe a class of collateral, also a description by category, specific listing, or as a computer or allocation formula. Here, they're trying to just say proceeds. 9108 doesn't grant the ability to broadly describe collateral as proceeds. So it's unlikely that the proceeds language in the finance statement will perfect the equipment, the computer. As a result, National Bank will need to amend the financing statement to include the equipment within 20 days to assure lasting